is a little cooler. The days are getting a little shorter. That means football is back. And this is another season of the Paul Watson Project. I'm your host, Walker Bruns. This is the league where trash talk is dished out, friendships are tested, and there's always a new surprise in store for us. Last season, we witnessed history as Austin won his first championship. So congratulations to Austin. May your reign be short and your waiver wire luck run dry. Of course, this year the stakes are higher, the egos ever bigger, and the excuses already being written. Some of you spent the offseason crunching numbers, watching film. Others spent the offseason studying how the USGA handicap system works. But that's what makes this league great. Chaos, comedy, although oftentimes the comedy is only something that only one person thinks is funny, and the occasional miracle run. I've got a little new format for you today, so let's buckle up, folks. Time to hand out some disrespect, preview this upcoming season, as well as this week's matchups. Looking forward to the wild ride this year. Alright, so I promised you guys I would get a little bit different of a format here. So what we're going to do is break the league down into different tiers. I didn't exactly know how to rank everybody from top to bottom, but I thought there were some pretty clear categories we could do. So let's go ahead and jump into it. I've got everybody listed right here, all 12 teams, and then we're just going to go from left to right here, starting with Zay Wrights. Now, to begin with, I'm not sure I believe in Zay Wrights, but, you know, it's up for discussion. He's got Puka, Josh Jacobs, James Conner, Chuba Hubbard. You know, solid squad there, a great RB stack. I'm not sure anybody really stands out to me. You might be hurting for wins until Rashee Rice comes back from that suspension. So right now, I've got Zay Wrights in the playoff wannabe category. Of course, things can change over the season, but that's where I stand right now, beginning of the season. Now, moving on to Ryan's team with the classic name here. He's got great young talent. He's got Ladd McConkey, Travion Henderson, Egbuka, Jaden Higgins. You know, the list goes on. But of course, with young talent, you just do not know. It's such a wild card. Could be a dark horse, or this could be a dumpster fire team. But I will say, I think this is a team that's going to be set up well for next year, not necessarily this year. Right now, I've got Ryan as a bottom feeder. All right, next up, Worthy is the Lamb, Travis's team. Great all-around team. Great draft from him. He's got, of course, CeeDee Lamb, Christian McCaffrey, Patrick Mahomes. One spot, though, is really going to need to step up on his team. You know, if Pollard is that guy, Worthy is that guy, somebody who he picks up on the waiver wire becomes somebody he can lean on, this could be a big season for Travis. So, you know, I could see this team end up being a league winner, but it's just not quite there yet. I've got this as a championship contender team. All right, moving on. We've got Nick Lane, a.k.a. Roger Goodell, but probably not Roger Goodell for long. His best player on his team is a tight end. So take that for what it's worth. No star player on this team. I see a lot of holes that need to be filled: quarterback, wide receiver, running back, and we've gotten rid of kickers and defense. So really nothing good to speak about on this team from me. Now, Yahoo does have this team projected decently. I just don't see it. You know, Nick is typically a championship contender in this league, with the most championships, of course, but this year he drafted like he was picking stocks from the 2008 crash. So I've got this as a dumpster fire team. All right, moving on. We've got Knight with Evans, Pinion, our league winner from last year, Austin. You know, his squad is built similar to last season, but is that strategy going to pay off twice? I'm not quite seeing that. You know, does he have a Chase Brown type of player that's going to add to his team? Will this be the season Mike Evans finally falls off? There's just too many holes for me in this team, but there's still a lot of studs on this team, so you can't count them out. I've got this as a championship contender team. just probably not quite as high as his brothers. All right, next up, Alex, aka Love Thy Neighbors. Also, I'm loving the team names. Well, some of them. Love Thy Neighbors. Another team that's relying on the young talent, similar to Ryan, but I think a little bit higher level of young talent. I mean, you've got Ashton Genty, my favorite player to watch this year. Can't wait to watch him. And then Neighbors. This is a team that definitely can surprise. It's going to be a tough out, pretty solid team. I just don't see enough points being scored week in, week out to be a championship contender. I've got this team as a playoff wannabe. Moving on to Zach Tinsley, Lemon Pound Cake. This is another solid team. I looked at this team right after Alex's, and I see them very similarly. You know, you've got Wilson, Kamara, Achan. Only really, I think Achan is really a standout player, but you know, a very solid squad of RBs. Does it have that really high end? I'm just not sure. I view this team a little bit better than Alex's, but still very similar. I have it also in the playoff wannabe category. All right, next up, Bozier. Laporta, her. I barely know her. Might need to come up with a better team name there, but that's all right. All the positions were filled on this team. We're talking about Josh Allen, Terry McLaurin, Bijan Robinson, Omarion Hampton, Laporta, and then he's got Ayuk, who's on injury right now. But when he comes back, this team is flying. This is the team here with the most sackos. So the tier I'm about to put this team in is shocking to me, but when I look at it, it is my favorite team. I've actually got Bozier as the league winner. It is what it is. I mean, I'm shocked as much as you guys. All right, next up, Gibbs, thanks. Zach Lane. Look at this team. The first position, Justin Fields, and I just laugh. But then I go ahead and have to look beyond that because that's what we do here at the Paul Watson Project. I see a very solid squad. Amon-Ra, Jahmyr Gibbs. These are the two teams leading the way. I'm pretty scared for the remaining players, although, you know, prognosticators do like these players in Marvin Harrison, Brian Thomas, RJ Harvey. I'm just not a fan, but you just never know who's going to have a great season in fantasy football. I've got this team as a playoff wannabe. Moving on to Jake Bellwood, aka Jamar Binks. Again, I might need to work on that team name there. But a lot of top-end talent. Using Austin's playbook from last year, trying to go for the elite and then fill out and hope for the best with the rest. He's got Hurts, Chase, Trey McBride, Jonathan Taylor. You know, great talent there. I'm going to be interested to see how healthy this team can stay. You know, when your two running backs are J.K. Dobbins and Jonathan Taylor, you might be in for a world of hurt. So I'd be a little scared with this team, but if it holds up, it is clearly a championship contender. All right, the final two here. Every Nisha Bowers and myself. But first up, Every Nisha Bowers, Rob Kercheval. This whole team is leaning on the big knees of Derrick Henry. And, of course, the speed of Lamar Jackson. But it's lacking 2 wide receivers, a second running back, a good flex. I just do not see this team making it through the grind of a 14-week season. You know, I almost put this in dumpster fire category, but Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson can carry you to more than a few wins. I've got this as a bottom feeder. Another shocker because Rob and Nick are typically teams that I would put near the top at the beginning of the season. But I'm just doing my job here. All right, next up, myself, unprepared to beat my squad. I have all the positions filled. Coming out of the draft, this was my favorite team I've ever drafted, which is probably really bad news for me. But that's all right. You know, enjoy it while it lasts before even a game is played. You know, Jaden Daniels, Nico Collins, Drake London, love it. It all comes down to the health of the glass man. Kenneth Walker. And if the Chiefs want to send out our man Travis Kelce on a high note after his engagement. So if those two things happen, maybe it's a league winner. But for today, I've got myself as a championship contender. So that's the format for now. That's our preview for the season. Now I'm going to quickly go through the rest of the games for the week 1 slate. All right, so here we are, week 1. Here are the matchups. I mean, it's going to be a great week, just like always. Excited to kick it off. First matchup I've got on here is unprepared to beat my squad versus every knee shall bowers. Me versus Rob. I've already gone through the lineups, so you can probably predict what I'm going to pick for each game here. But in this one, I've got myself unprepared to beat my squad. Yahoo also believes unprepared to beat my squad has got the victory here. I built this little thing here. Hopefully week to week we can go through and look at the picks. I'm gonna put it up on my website so you guys can see the picks week to week. It probably won't be ready this week, but in weeks to come maybe we'll have something cool going here. All right, next up, Roger Goodell versus Ryan's team. Two teams that I have at the bottom of the barrel. Now I had Roger Goodell as a dumpster fire, but Ryan's team is super young. Week 1, what's gonna happen? I can't pick a dumpster fire to win. I've got Ryan's team going here, but Yahoo says Roger Goodell's got the victory. Moving on to Lemon Pound Cake. Zach Tinsley versus Laporta. I barely know her. This is a very intriguing matchup, but like I said, strongest team in the league here is Bozier. For me, he is just too strong. Let's see what Yahoo's got here. They've got Lemon Pound Cake. So clearly Yahoo and my own analysis here are totally off. We'll see how the season shakes out. Love Thy Neighbors versus Zay Wrights. I've got Love Thy Neighbors in this one. Alex's team, it's a team I think is going to be kind of boom or bust, but I really like it top to bottom. Zay Wrights, not quite as much. Let's see. Yahoo, completely different from me here. Me and Yahoo disagree on almost every game. Gibbs, thanks, versus Knight with Evan Pinion, a new league contender versus last year's champion. I've actually got Gibbs, thanks, in this one. I think it's going to be a new year. Maybe we'll see a Zach Lane victory early instead of trying to fight for that spot in the playoffs. Let's see. Yahoo has a squeaker in this one. Knight with Evans Pinion. So I guess Yahoo and I will disagree on every game. And look here, I've highlighted it. The game of the week. I just messed it up. The game of the week. Man, this is cool. I was trying to show it off, and here we are. I'm just jacking it up. All right, whatever. Maybe it's not that cool. All right, game of the week. I've got Jamar Binks first. Worthy is the Lamb. In this one, I've got to go with Jamar Binks. I think this is just going to be a great matchup of two teams that really have a chance to win the championship. Who's going to start off strong? What's in store for this season? Yahoo says Jamar Binks also has it. And there's my picks for this week. In the future, I'll have these up. Y'all can just go check out the picks I've got. This is not financial advice, so don't be making any bets based on these picks. But looking forward to seeing how this week shakes out. It's going to be a fun year.
This is the Paul Watson Project.